Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttattooandpiercing@gmail.com and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The Sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
What's up, Metal Forge fans? This is Alan Bishop, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest and head distiller at Spirits of French Lick. Do you find yourself drawn to the unexplained, fascinated by the Fortean, or enchanted by the paranormal? If the things that go bump in the night resonate in your mind, then tune into my brand new podcast, If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything. Featuring first-hand accounts, collected stories, interviews, history, and speculation related to all things not of this world. Available now on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and more. Sit back, relax, and remember, if you have ghosts, you have everything.
Thank you for tuning into the Metal Forge. I am Mark Jackson and I'm your host. The premise of the show is pretty simple. Awesome interviews and awesome music. If you want to contact me, hit me up at metalforgeradio@gmail.com or visit the website metalforgeradio.com. And now let's get this show on the road. What is going on, metalheads? Thank you all for tuning in to this week's episode of the Metal Forge. How are you all doing this week? I have Beth Dunn from Babes of Metal 5, Harlots and Hellions, a night of macabre music and brutal burlesque here in the Metal Forge studio, and we're going to be talking with her in just a few minutes. You know, just like last year, she was here promoting this awesome burlesque show, and yeah, you know, that's one of the cool things about Louisville is we have a few burlesque troupes that are pretty awesome. You know, we got some really awesome people that get to perform in those and everything, and it's super rad, super fun times to be had by all. So, before we get into talking with Beth, though, I'm going to bring up this. My band Overload is doing like a little 3-shot Skulls, or Crushing Skulls tour this weekend. Today, we are going to be playing in Milwaukee for Randy at Club Garibaldi for Blades of Steel Metal Fest 2. Some awesome bands like The Accused are playing that show. Vanek is on that show. Hellfire and Screamer are playing tonight with us. So come on out, have a good time. Get you some new awesome Overload albums. The new 10th anniversary press of Blood for Blood will be available, along with some awesome shirts and patches and all that cool kind of shit. Tomorrow, October the 8th, we will be in Akron, Ohio with Attacks and Emerald Range at the Empire Concert Club. So if you are in the Akron area, come on down. You're the next contestant on the Crushing Skulls tour. You know, all that same stuff, unless we get rid of it all tonight, is going to be there as well. And then on Sunday, October the 9th, in Lexington, Kentucky at the Green Lantern, we are playing with Lips and Snafu. So yeah, awesome Detroit thrash coming through Lexington, and they're going to get to meet some Louisville thrash with us, and we're going to kick ass. We're going to take names. We're going to burn the damn Green Lantern down, because somebody's just going to knock it off the wall and the paper's going to catch fire, and we're just going to go fucking have a grand fucking time with that. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in, each and every week. As kicks ass, you all have been great. I appreciate every last single one of you that listen and give feedback. You guys kick ass. We keep growing in numbers every week and week and week, and it's so fucking cool. So I'm going to keep this short. I'm going to keep this sweet today. We're going to listen to one of the bands that is playing the Babes of Metal number 5, okay? This is from the band She, who have been on the Metal Forge in the past. So go through the archives, look for, some awesome stuff with them back when they were on, I believe, in 2020. This is Best Laid Plans.
I'm making plans for old age, got it figured out. I'm gonna drown my sorrow, I wanna drown. I'm making plans for future, got it figured out. I'm gonna hang my head, I wanna hang. I'm making plans, but next year,
right, metalheads, this is a different episode this week because just like this time last year, the Harlots and Hellions, did I get it right this time?
Yeah, you got it.
The Babes of Metal show, Babes of Metal 5, is happening, by the way, this is released tomorrow night, and I have Beth Dunn here, who is the curator, proprietor, pretty much does everything with the Harlots and Hellions. It's her thing here in the Metal Forge. Beth, how are you doing?
Doing okay. How are you?
I am amazing. This fall weather here that we have in the area that's moved in over the last couple of weeks has kicked ass. I really like the cool weather personally.
Yeah, I'm into it. Like this summer kicked my ass. Like it was entirely too hot for any human being ever to be alive.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy about the fall weather too. It's nice that we're getting a fall this year, not just going straight from like a summer to a winter to having tornadoes in December on my birthday like we did last year.
Yeah, right.
Wild shit.
Definitely. And that was one of the cool things this year too. We did have a spring.
We did.
And it was like, wow, this is something
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
It
the little things.
It doesn't go from super blasting hot and cold this year, which is awesome. And hopefully, I don't care. I like cold weather, but I hate the fucking snow. I like the way it looks. Just keep it off the road. So like that's how I hate that shit.
No, I love the snow, but also, working in education means that I get that day off. So
yeah,
I have a whole different opinion of it,
right,
than most people, which I know is semi-charmed.
Yeah, because that's one of the things that I thought about over like the whole pandemic issue was like kids today are not going to know what it's like to have a real snow day anymore because of e-learning and all of that. It's like, oh well, you're just logging on at home now, and there are still some places out there that are doing like the every other day still, but it's not as common as it was, of course, over the last 2 years. But
no,
it's still interesting that there are still e-learning days out there.
There are. I mean, JCPS, they have the option to, I guess I probably shouldn't say the school district, but like they have the option of actually attending something called Pathfinder, or which is a full-time online school.
Wow.
Now, if they're middle school or above, I think they have to make a certain GPA to stay in it. But yeah, there are options for kids to attend e-school.
That's interesting. See, it's almost one of those deals where it's like, it's almost like the homeschool thing, and it's like whether you agree with it or not, and then you're just like, but is it teaching self-reliance? Because you're learning a lot of that stuff to do stuff like that on your own. So, I mean, you don't have the fucking teacher like jumping in your ass because you didn't learn Common Core the right way or their way or something, right?
Right. I mean, I actually learned about something. A friend of mine he was touring with his band. I'm not gonna say who it was, but I guess they had some chick on one of the other bands running the merch, and she had a 10-year-old kid with her, and they were all really confused by it. But I guess they were like, she was explaining, she was very bohemian. It's like how she does something called no non-schooling or no schooling, which is different from homeschooling, which is not even a set curriculum. Basically, they learn what they want to learn at their pace or from real life experiences, and apparently there's success with it. But to me, that just sounds lazy. Like it's like you're just letting the kid decide what they want to learn. That doesn't seem like successful. But I'm not a parent. It's not my place. Not
your place. Yeah, I get that. That's very interesting that you say that, because I'm pretty sure I saw an interview with James Hetfield where he was talking about how anytime they go to a place outside of the United States, I say a weird place, but is where like they'll go to China and tour, right? But they'll be there a month, and they'll take the kids out of school and take them to China so they can experience what it's like to be there.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool, but it almost seems like that whole thing of what you're calling non-schooling or whatever, learning at your own pace kind of thing.
Yeah. That to me almost is a little bit different, because like it's a different country. You're learning about a different culture, and my guess is they also have the money to have a tutor or something with them.
Probably more than likely.
So like... But
what?
This is not Education Forge. This is Metal Forge.
No, you're right. You're right. This is a Metal Forge. So we're going to talk about.
Soapbox.
I know. But that's part of the deal. It's a conversation-based podcast. See, it all works out.
It does.
So we went through the history last time with, how you got everything started. And this year being the 5th year, you did have the break with COVID and everything. And it's like a lot of people were out there saying, is this actually going to happen? Because this has kind of been a snake bit show this time. You've had a lot of obstacles to break through on this.
It has. Yeah. I mean, it's just with the, for those that are aware of the show, with the like Whirling Tiger, with that venue shutting very suddenly, and of course leaving, I almost felt worse for my friends that worked there because it left them in like an employment lurch, but also left artists and groups such as ours without, anything to do, especially a week and a half out. Like, it's supposed, like, and I didn't even find out. I've still had no communication with the owner. I had to find out through a third party, through somebody else who knew people that worked there. And then finally I got a hold of someone who confirmed it. But I've still never spoken to an owner. I've tried speaking to an owner. He blocked me on Facebook.
Whoa.
Because, we had poured hundreds of dollars into advertising this show, and had originally had to take, like, luckily the rentals we got reimbursed for because they didn't have chairs for our VIP tables. They didn't have anything that we needed in that regard. So I'm still out money, but and I've been contacted. I've had interviews with Wave 3 and WHAS 11 about all this stuff, because I guess this particular owner also owned Flamingo Lounge and also owned some sandwich shop, and like 3 of his business have just randomly shut their doors, like within a matter of months, like without any explanation or, apology to the staff.
Yeah, that's a weird thing, and it beckons back to a few other places that I've seen close, and I was told that in the bar business it's best to do it the way they did it, because then it's like ripping the Band-Aid off kind of thing. It's like it's there one day and it's not the next, because then you have to worry about all this other garbage that if you're okay, guys, we've got 30 days and we're done. And then it's like, then you're not going to have people showing up because they're going to be bailing because they know they're not going to have a job, and I'm not justifying him in any word.
It makes sense.
But yeah, it's like, it sucks, but it was honestly, at that rate, if unemployment was able to be, obtained, it was probably the best way to do it.
Yeah, with the staff maybe, but they could have warned the artists
and
the people that had shows ahead of time, because it's not like we were on the payroll.
Exactly, and I went through that too.
Yeah,
and it's like what the fuck? It's like, now what am I gonna do? Now I gotta either find a home for this or cancel it. And I hate canceling shows, and I'm sure that's where you're at with it as well. It's like you're past the point of no return at some point.
Yeah, exactly. And I was really grateful. Like, we made a post that got shared quite a bit, and luckily we had some people that came to our aid and offered us a different venue. And it's not a venue that I'm terribly familiar with it, but it's very cool looking. It's on St. Matthews. It's called Never Say Die. It's after the whole Goonies thing, I guess. Nice. And so we're going to be bringing some nice death metal, doom metal, all the metal vibes to St. Matthews, which will be different and interesting. But I'm just grateful to have a place to do it,
right? Because
the show must go on. Like you said, after a certain point, it's a point of no return.
And a week and a half out and your venue suddenly closes, and you're able to find something else that I get that. So the show is October 8th. Doors are at 7, show is at 8. You have 3 awesome bands playing. You have Redivider from Louisville. You have Crop from Lexington, and She from Louisville as well.
Yes.
So the stoner groove, doom, and death metal is, and like you said, you're bringing it to St. Matthews, which is awesome, because it's like, why not cause a little chaos?
Why not? Yeah, it'll be very different. It'll be not just another cover singer-songwriter that plays, in St. Matthews at
Gertzel's.
The Chad at Gertzel's or Diamonds, formerly known as Diamonds, Foxden. Don't get me wrong, I like the people that do the Foxden stuff, but yeah, it'll definitely be a change of pace
for sure. And that's what it's all about. That's one of the things that I think rock and metal and all that has always been about. It's about bucking the system. And, standing up for what you want to do and what you believe in and stuff. So with this, how are you, like I said, this has kind of been a little bit of a snake bit thing. How are you going to adapt next year?
Assuming
really, there is a next year.
Hopefully, this was what a lot of those news articles and segments actually focused about. It wasn't even just the stuff that was going on with Whirling Tiger, but so much as how many Louisville venues are dying off.
Right.
Like how many have closed in the last year, because we lost a lot of them, with the exception of some of the bigger ones, which aren't necessarily bars that are open full time. So you have to book them like an event space, and you have to pay them a pretty significant fee ahead of time, or they're places like Headliners or Mercury Ballroom that are a little more commercial, or you have to book those way in advance, and
almost
or like
years,
even Z Bar
a year or so in advance.
like especially with people coming out of post COVID and really looking for a place to go. And now I've heard rumors, I don't know if it's true, about Zanzibar having to close down much earlier due to noise ordinance issues.
I've heard that rumor as well. I think they have to be done by 10 at night on the weeknights, and I think they can go until midnight on the weekends. That's one of the things that I had heard.
See, I wasn't sure about that. See, and that makes sense, and that's doable, but it's just, hopefully next year we'll just be able to get something. I feel like in a lot of ways we did everything right this year. we had a venue, we had it locked down in the spring, and then it shut down, so it's like all we can do is cross our fingers, I guess. But we're definitely, since we couldn't do a really big 5th anniversary show, we're going to do our big 6th anniversary show.
Nice.
And make that our big one. Hopefully have some bigger bands. Hopefully be at a decent sized venue. But I will say that the former Haymarket has now been rebought, and
Why did you mention that name?
Well, no, because it's now called Frank's, and they're like someone bought it and they've renovated the space. And I don't know if you've ever been there, if anyone who's listening has ever been there, but they're trying to do a lot more with it. So hoping maybe that'll become something promising. But again, with the history of the Haymarket, that building,
as long as that jackass, and I'm not going to refer to him by name, as long as he's not involved.
He's not involved remotely. It's completely different owners.
Thank God.
No, if I would not work with that place if it was not.
If it was
that guy was still involved.
Yeah, I know where that guy lives too.
Oof.
And fuck that guy. I'll go ahead and say that. Fuck that guy.
Lat Mandem.
No, don't say his name.
I didn't.
Which is like, I booked one show there, and like, it was so fucking awful. It was such a fucking terrible show because he booked 2 shows at the same time. He booked the metal show in the back room, which I'm assuming is still part of the...
It is.
Because that was actually a cool room.
And that was the one we would like to potentially have been talking about someone about using next year.
That would be awesome, because that was actually a cool room, and it had easy load in and load out access. But like, he booked a rap battle in the front in the bar, and the place had a shitty bar. Okay, like the way it was, like, and he booked it, and they were right in front of the doors to go out to the smoking area. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
Yeah, it's way too narrow. The way that they've kind of renovated and stuff, it's definitely too narrow to do anything in that front room.
Oh, yeah. Well, even then, when he had it, it was still, when he had the bar that was where it was in the middle of the room, it was still too narrow on anywhere to do it. And then it just had like the weird bathroom space that looked like they were just like part of the put up plywood and... Anyways, hopefully
they're doing a lot of work with it.
Yeah,
they're doing a lot of work
because that area, that part of town, that part of downtown has potential, and a lot of those older buildings, they've been renovated and they have some really awesome. Even the ones just near where that is have some awesome places in there. So cool. Your big 666th anniversary show, hopefully, comes next year. And you always like to do these around in the fall. You're not really a spring or summer summer would be kind of rough because
hot.
Nobody's a sun merchant.
No, and then in the summer I feel like we compete. I mean, October you can compete with a lot of things too, but if you can do like the post Louder Than Life pre-Halloween, this is what we usually try to. There's usually a little bit, seems like there's a little bit of a lull in there, so it's what we try to like aim for is that period of time. Now we have gone into early November because when you get too close to Halloween, you start competing with a lot of different things.
Yeah, you compete with the haunted houses and just other stuff. Like a lot of people do Halloween shows 2 to now 3 weeks in advance almost. It's weird.
Yeah, especially with Vava Vixens, which is the big burlesque town or burlesque troupe in Louisville. The other 3 weekends in October, besides ours, they're doing shows.
Right.
So I'm grateful that we're doing ours when we are, so we don't have to compete with yet another burlesque show because we share some of the same performers.
Right. So and in a perfect world, it would be great if, you all wouldn't have to compete with each other. Because, like you said, you share a lot of the same performers. And, personal differences aside, you're all out for the same cause. You're all out for the performance art aspect of everything. Yeah,
absolutely. It's like, I won't get into that. But, like, in terms of just creative freedom, I mean, that's a big reason why I do what I do. And, yeah, it's a little bit different with the Vixens, but no, I mean, and I would love, because that was something we looked into in terms of Art Sanctuary, because it was free this coming weekend, but they wanted too much money.
I get that.
Which I respect it. They've got their in-house burlesque troupe, and they've got they got to make money too.
Exactly, because they, with Art Sanctuary being a nonprofit and everything else, they've really got to make whatever they book work. Yeah, I totally get that. Absolutely 100% get that. Absolutely. So what do you have on the docket for this weekend for the show?
For the show, I mean, as far as, you already kind of mentioned the bands, right? But we've got a slightly smaller cast, a little pared down cast this year. Some repeat performers. We've got some new ones as well. There'll be a good mix of metal covers. There might be a ABBA metal routine that's going to be happening, so that should be fun. But then we've got some classics.
Black metal dancing queen. That would be something interesting.
It's not black metal. It's more of a power metal version. I hate saying it, but it's by Yngwie Malmsteen. Did it? I hate that man, but that song was really catchy, and I really wanted to use it for something.
If you ever run into him, ask him if he would like to go get donuts.
Oh no, Yngwie doesn't eat donuts.
He doesn't like donuts.
He doesn't eat donuts. He'll throw them at me and be very pissy about it. Yes, I showed that video to someone recently who didn't even know who Yngwie was. My dad loves
What do you
them.
mean? Somebody who didn't know who Yngwie was? Everyone know who Yngwie is.
I know. He'd be very insulted. My dad's a big Yngwie fan, so he's gone to see him before, and not denying any talent there, but no, he did a cover of "Gimme Gimme Gimme," and we're definitely using that for like a metal disco number.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's one of the things that with metal that I've always liked is when metal artists, and it's mutually exclusive actually. When metal artists can do a song like that and make it metal, that's rad as shit to me. Yeah. But when I also just as much like it when somebody that does not play metal takes a metal song and makes it their style. Like, Tori Amos's Smells Like Teen Spirit. And I know that's not metal, but it's the same idea. Right. That shit like that is awesome to me.
There's a book that you should read. It's called I Hate Myself and Want to Die. But now it sounds terrible, but it's named after the Nirvana song. That's what reminded me of that. But it's a book that kind of writes little snippets about the 50 most depressing songs of all time. But there's a whole chapter about covers, and it talks about what was it? Oh, like Johnny Cash's cover of "Hurt," or what was that Pearl Jam? The
Last Kiss.
Yeah, that cover. Like I was like, I can't remember. So I don't know. I know that was a bit of a tangent, but there was a whole thing about that. Like
that's interesting.
About how it talked about how those were even more powerful, more depressing when they were covered by these particular bands.
For sure, and definitely, and even like with Johnny Cash, back in the tangent here, which is fine because that's what this is all about. It's like it's conversation based. When Johnny Cash changes the lyrics, even in Hurt, because Trent says, "I wear this crown of shit," and Johnny was a minister. He changed it to thorns, and even still, it makes it something different.
Yeah, absolutely.
And whoever, I'm gonna say whoever bless Rick Rubin. Seriously, because that man, with whatever he touches, is fucking amazing. And that, like the last 6 Cash albums were all produced by Rick Rubin. Tom Petty's highest selling album, Wildflowers, is produced by Rick Rubin. It's so fucking amazing. That if there were anybody I could ever work with in music, it would probably be him. Just because.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's fair. There's a lot of talent there. It's interesting that you'd mentioned the lyrical change, though, and him being a minister. Like, when I was in college, I went to Eastern Kentucky University, and I had a humanities professor who would, we'd do musical analysis, blah, blah, blah. And he pulled that song to pick apart, and he was talking about how ultimately Christian it was. And, like, we picked apart all the lyrics. I'm just sitting there, I'm like, this isn't a Johnny Cash song.
Right.
Like it's but he didn't realize that. He didn't realize it was a 9 Inch Nails cover, and had never heard the original one.
But with that, Trent was Catholic, raised Catholic, went to Catholic school and everything. So it does make sense that even when 9 Inch Nails,
it's true.
It was still
there were some of the things you were saying that were a bit of a stretch.
Right. Okay, I see what you mean now.
Because this was a Southern Baptist minister.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I can't remember specifics, but no, he was definitely taking some extremely Christian liberties. And like I said, he didn't even realize that the 9 Inch Nails version existed. He didn't even, so it's like, he says crown of shit in the original one. It's like, because at my smart-ass 18-year-old self. Right. But, I just thought it was interesting that the Southern Baptist minister was teaching us about that song.
I used to do... play werewolf and Vampire the Masquerade, like actual LARPing this stuff, right? And one of we integrated, so we had so many crossover games at one time. We used to do this at IUS. One of my hunter characters was a Southern Baptist minister and it's like, the Lord giveth, and like this whole
very
big
intense.
Very intense, almost like evangelical.
Yeah, that's about where this guy was.
Oh, they're the worst.
Yeah, he was the worst.
And I think what's so funny about most of those people is you find out later on like how fucking awful they really are. Like Jimmy Swaggart and the older Metal Forge fans that listen to the show will probably know who that is. So, again, the show is the 8th.
Yes.
You're kicking ass. You've got some awesome performances. It's at Never Say Die out in St. Matthews, which the address is
3900 Shelbyville Road.
Yeah. Plug it in the GPS. If you're in the area, go check this out. Tickets range from $12 to $25. I'm assuming the 25 is VIP.
Yeah, so section? VIP just like is a little clear. So 12 for pre-sale, 15 at the door. 25 with VIP is typically that's not something our metal fans go for. Those are generally the people that are there for the burlesque, because it comes with a table with 4 chairs and just kind of some treats and stuff like that on the table for those that just kind of want to maybe chill out, have a more relaxed experience. It tends to be more our burlesque fans that buy those.
Right.
But, of course, they're open to anybody.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's an experience.
Exactly. It's an experience. And, it was like my going to Psycho Las Vegas last year and doing the VIP experience and meeting older people that, I always told myself I'd never go to the VIP. I'd never do that at a metal show. That seems so fucking lame. But then you get up there and you meet the people, and they're not a bunch of like rich old snobs. They're like older guys. Like, I have a bad fucking back. I don't want to get in the mosh pit.
Right.
I have a bad knee.
You're
I don't want to stand up the whole time. So it was like people that were like, we paid our fucking dues.
Yeah.
So we have that there for two, just to be
maybe that's what I need to start doing.
Capable.
So I talk so much shit on like going to like 4-day festival shows. Maybe I just need to start getting VIP tickets. But they're fucking expensive anymore.
They are. Like, I mean, I will say the only place I'll do it is Vegas because they make it worth it. But like,
right now, that's the other thing too. Like, the VIP is one thing, but like if you're doing like the big like meet and greet packages and stuff,
yeah, I don't care about that.
Oh my gosh, like I seriously considered doing the King Diamond one, or Merciful Fate deal, and I didn't do it because it was just like it was so much money.
It is.
And I was just like, it's like $900. I'm like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's like $900. Are you serious?
I've never paid for the meet and greet. I've done VIP for Psycho Las Vegas, and I think I paid for early entry for some shows before too, just so I could, because I'm short as fuck. And I want to be able to get close. I'm
right.
For those that are on the podcast, I'm 5 feet tall on a good day. So, if I can
that's
get
with
up.
heels.
Yeah, that's. Shh. You give away my secret.
I'm sorry.
But no, there's certain bands. If I want to be able, I'm of a certain age now. I'm 21. Everybody, I'm 21 now.
Right.
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
But I'm of a certain age now that I don't want to fight to get to the front of most places. Like, and I only really will do that for some bands.
Right.
But if I can do it easily,
right,
by paying another extra $50, depending on the artist, I might do that.
But photo passes are amazing.
Yeah.
Let's just say photo passes are great.
Guess I need to get a camera.
Yeah,
like
get a photo pass.
That's impressive.
You get the first 3 songs right in between the band and the stage, or the rail and the stage, and then you could just walk out to the side, and then you can see everything.
Yeah, I need to do that.
Been there. It's life hacks, people. Life hacks.
Invest in like a $2,000 camera, and then I'm set for life.
Or a $200.
One that just looks really good.
Yeah, one that looks really good.
So,
do you have any sponsors for the show?
This year we haven't had as much luck with that. Like, King kind of mentioned, being a snake bit sort of show.
Right.
Like, we had a lot of issues with bands booking and backing out, and people saying they'd sponsor and then they didn't.
Right.
Like, and then also we had supposed some liquor sponsors and things like that, but that kind of went out the window with the venue.
Right.
So as of right now, we do not.
Okay.
But we've got the venues treating us really good and giving us a really good deal in terms of letting us use the space, and they're being very helpful. And we've had people that have stepped up. And Bob from She, who's playing that night, is being gracious enough to be our sound man too.
Nice.
So we don't have to worry about that.
We love Bob.
I love Bob.
Bob is awesome.
His wife's in our show too. She's one of my good friends.
Nice.
So
he throws down, and he's a big sweetheart. For being
big old metal tape bear.
Yeah, he really is. And I thought it was really interesting. And this is a little side note here. One of the guitar players in Toxic Ruin looks just like Bob.
Oh, I know who you're talking. He's the one I know the least.
Yeah, he's so.
Of course, I can think of Blake and Steve and Dave, and I can't think of his name.
Right,
and I sound like an asshole.
And it's funny to me because they have the same demeanor. They're both super quiet, and until they're on stage, and then they're both fucking nuts. And it's like, wow. It's like Bob's twin.
Yeah.
It's like
I feel terrible. I can't remember his name now.
It's identical twins separated at birth. It has to be. And it's awesome. So just like last year, this is a little bit different this time.
Okay.
I've been shuffling these cards the whole time, keeping
cards.
We're not going to do the whole deck of cards.
Well, I hope not.
That's a lot of questions. That's a lot of questions. So we're going to keep it to a few.
Okay.
Again, general profile questions about life in general. Could be music, could be whatever you want it to be related to.
Okay.
What brand or product do you specifically buy because you feel it's trustworthy?
Because it's trustworthy? Probably, I don't know if I would call it trustworthy, but it's my tried and true, and that's some of my clothing brands that I go with. Like, definitely Killstar, which... I've done some brand ambassador stuff and shit, like, with their stuff. but I know I can find shoes in their size because being short, I also have small feet. And like I can find shoes that fit me from there. And that's not always common in boots and heels for my other petite feet ladies out there. They know what I'm saying.
Right.
But, you know.
Seems like most of the women that I know all shop in the kids section for their shoes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the kids section is generally where I go, but Killstar brand, like, I can usually find decent boots and heels from them.
There you go.
So.
Because, yeah, I mean, even me being like a metal dude, and I take a lot of pride in my boots and shit like that, and as well as any metalhead should, because, hey, they're an everyday carry. That, yeah, quality means a lot. You can't just go buy a cheap brand because, you know, you're standing on your feet at shows on concrete floors all the fucking time, so it's gonna fucking kill your feet, your ankles. Yeah,
you gotta have inserts. So I should say, I guess maybe some Dr. Scholl's. That's a brand I trust.
There you
my
go.
feet together.
Trusted, approved.
Trusted and approved. Yes, but no, it's like I am probably some makeup and skincare brands and stuff like that.
Right on.
Joico to keep this blonde in check. This very clearly natural blonde.
I'm not saying anything.
No, I'm just saying. I'm 21 and blonde and short. Like, we're just rolling with all of it. One of those things is true.
I'm gonna let people guess.
Yes.
We're gonna field callers right now.
Yes.
What is one thing you wish you had the money to pay someone to do for you?
Right now, probably meal prep. Like, I've gotten to where, like, now that I'm living alone and stuff like that, I hate to cook for myself because I feel like I always have so much food left over. I don't necessarily want to eat the same thing every day, but, like, I had to have major surgery a few years back, and ever since then, it's been kind of it's been a little more difficult to maintain my weight. And I really wish I had someone to just meal prep for me or cook for me. Personal chef.
Yes, I would go with that 100% because I get really bored like 2 days. I can make something, like made chicken soup last week. It's like, you know what? I did it on a Wednesday, and I'm like, I'm going to eat this for the next 3 days till Saturday. Then I had friends coming down. We're going to make some dinner or whatever. Friday night, I was fucking done. I'm like, no more soup.
No more soup.
No. And yeah, like that's a big thing, especially, you know, once you start realizing what and where you need to make changes, especially like in like with proper diet, meal prep is a big thing. I totally get that. I'm diabetic and I have to look at that myself. And just like over the last few weeks, I've completely cut out all bread and potatoes and pasta and everything. And I'm just like, whoa.
See, I should probably do that too. But
it's so good.
It's so good. Like, I remember the one time I did try to do but I'm also a vegetarian. So once I start cutting that out and I'm also not eating meat, I'm like, so I'm going on a raw diet. Essentially, it's just eating raw vegetables. But like, I remember, you know, I can get our other forms of protein, but I remember when I did try the keto thing once, and I went without carbs for 2 or 3 days, and I was a bitch. Like, the guy I was dating at the time, he's like, I'm going to order you a fucking pizza because you need to calm the fuck down. I'm like, fine, thank you. And then I ate the pizza, and I was perfectly fine again. I was mean without carbs.
It's fucking rough, honestly, because, like, ultimately, you know, if you're not doing it the right way with like doing actual exercise and getting the quote healthy or just the amount of carbs that you should have, your body starts eating what's there, and then it's like, hey, motherfucker.
It was bad. No, because I can do the workout stuff, so a lot of mine is hormonal issues and like thyroid stuff and this and that, and like it's just trying to find that balance. Definitely. I guess so.
For sure. Do you have an area of your life that you're never satisfied with?
All of it.
Oh, come on now.
I am a very unhappy person. No, I mean, I think I wouldn't say, you know, I do okay, but like I admittedly am going to say like I always want more money, but it's not necessarily somewhat for selfish reasons, but being able to travel more because like I'm a Sagittarius and I love to travel.
Right.
And travel's so GD expensive, and So I'll never be content.
You can say that here.
Yes. So it's out of habit. Working in education in the nonprofit field, like I'll never be completely satisfied with my level of education. Like the money is the only thing that's really held me back from not going and getting a PhD, because I have a graduate degree, but like PhD programs that I've looked at are like $80,000. Yeah. And I can't imagine sinking myself into that much debt.
Right. And that's a big thing. A lot of people are that's a big fear thing with that, because it's like, that's a lot of fucking money. And now that's a very, not necessarily base model car, but like, something that's just midline. Mm-hmm. You look at a lot of car prices, they're
I could pay off 50, half 60, my mortgage right
same.
now.
Yeah, same. Fucking car is like, to get a base model car is half of my mortgage. And it's like, fuck that. What are 3 things you would leave in a time capsule for people to open in 50 years?
That's a toughie. One of them would probably be... I'd probably pick something from my record collection, but I don't know which record it would be. That's tough. Probably a David Bowie record. I know it's not very metal of me to like David Bowie.
No. We talked about that last year with Ghost. Yeah.
Yeah, I went and saw that Moonage Daydream documentary art film thing they did about. It was really good. If you get a chance to watch it, it's like 2.5 hours, and you may as well be on drugs for most of it. But
wow,
it was very well done. But probably David Bowie album. Probably Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. It's my favorite book. Like, I'm guessing I'm trying to tell people about me, right? And then I don't know. That's tough. Maybe a video game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you have a
favorite forms of entertainment?
Do you have a favorite video game? Do you game?
I do game. I do game. Like, the only reason I haven't done streaming stuff, like, as everyone keeps telling me I would do very well at streaming, but there's enough big titty goth girls out there doing it. I'm sure I have plenty of competition. But right now my game of choice is Elder Scrolls Online.
Okay.
And Diablo 3. That's what I've been playing lately.
The tried and true.
Yeah. But I'm a big fan of anything Bethesda. Well, I don't know now, but like before they got bought out. Like the Fallout series is probably my favorite series. The second Red Dead Redemption was good.
Okay. See,
open world RPG stuff.
I have a Switch, but like I'm only playing like NES and like Super NES games on.
No, I can appreciate that too. One of my all-time favorite games is Ocarina of Time.
Awesome.
Which I know isn't as old as the NES or the SNES.
No, but that's still 64. That's still fun.
Yeah,
still fun. Who is someone you would like to trade places with for a day?
Maybe. This can't be a dead person. I'd end up in the ground, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Or it depends on if you're trading it while they were alive, I guess.
I don't know. Yeah, the card was very vague in that sense.
Yeah, it was.
That's a tough one. I like where I'm at, but I don't know.
That's an interesting one.
That is an interesting one.
And the thing is, it is very vague. It doesn't specify you have to trade with another female.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. That one's tough because I don't know that. And also, I've never really had much interest in being famous or being part of the spotlight. So
I think for me, I would want to trade places with Ozzy for a day and be like him just to see.
Now we're in his prime.
Well,
because his mental faculties are a little.
They've always been kind of messed up.
Yeah.
They've always been kind of messed up.
But I mean, like in this instance,
I would like to see how he sees things.
That's fair.
Is what it is. Because, like, there's times where that you can tell when Ozzy is sober and when Ozzy is not. Like, when he's... All these interviews are... this is what it's about,
Mm-hmm.
He's fucking blitzed. He can't talk when he's blitzed. But, like, any interview you see with him where he's, like, actually coherent... Yeah, he's actually sober. So it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I could see that. Maybe I'd feel that way about doing it with Keith Richards. I'd be curious to see his points of view.
Right, because
this day and age.
Yeah,
he's definitely embalmed in heroin.
No shit. You know, there's an interesting story. Have you ever read White Line Fever? The Lemmy autobiography? No,
it's on my stack of things to read.
There is a very good Keith Richards story in that where Lemmy was doing, Keith in like the late 70s, like very early 80s, went and had dialysis done. And it's the genesis of the scene in the movie Rockstar where Jason Bonham's character is getting it done.
Yeah.
You know, where he's like, you know, freshening up and everything. It's like a rapid detox is what it is. And they told Lemmy that he was not able to have it done because when they freshened his blood up, it would kill him because he was just so, he was so toxic with all the drugs that he had done. And, you know, he was also told that he could not give blood or anything because of it. He would kill the recipient. It's like, fuck.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
That shit's wild.
That is insane. So I've got one more question, but before we do that, again, Saturday the 8th, which is tomorrow, at Never Say Die, 3900 Shelbyville Road in Louisville, Kentucky. I almost messed that up. So easy to get them messed up. Harlots Hellions presents Babes of Metal 5, an evening of macabre music and brutal burlesque.
Yes, with She and Redivider and Crop.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Again, they've been on the show before. Check out the archives. They're from Louisville. Crop from Lexington. We've done an album review on. Athena had done one a few months back. And Redivider from Louisville. Super awesome people all around. Pre-sale was $12. Doors $15. VIP was $25. Links are going to be listed in the comments below, or in the description below. What the fuck am I even saying? Do you have any shout outs? I'm so unprofessional today. Fuck, man. Do you have any shout outs you want to give to anybody?
I mean, thank you for letting us come.
Always.
Or letting myself come on the show. Of course, shout out to all my fellow artists and musicians that take part in our collective every year, our kittens that help us out and do volunteer work for us every year, and for Never Say Die, who, you know, came in at the final hour and scooped us up and whisked us away in their arms. Gave us a new home.
Definitely. And you know, that's one of the cool things is like, hopefully this might be a thing where it's it might be, you never know, it could be a permanent home.
Yeah.
You know, it might just, you might knock it out of the park, and you will knock it out of the park. What am I saying? Might's ass.
That's right. God, so unprofessional today.
Yeah, right? I'm like,
God.
What am I even saying over here?
Rude.
So, final question of the day. What is your kryptonite?
What is my kryptonite? Mushrooms.
Like... You're kind of vague there,
it's like
regular, like portobello, or like hallucinogenic.
Oh, not drugs. I mean, I don't really partake in those either.
Okay.
In the past, and I'm not saying that I'm anti-drug. I'm just saying in the past when I've done those, they make my stomach hurt. But no, it's
sorry, I had to ask.
No, that's fine, and I'm the worst vegetarian ever because most people. Vegetarians like, oh, portobello is just like a fucking steak. No, it's fucking not, though. It's not. It's a fucking mushroom. I have texture issues with them. I think they all taste like dirt no matter how they're cooked. Maybe it's psychosomatic, and I hate the texture of them. I cannot with mushrooms. Cannot. Or rice cauliflower. I have a vehement hate. It's not my kryptonite, but this is a story I'm going to go into really quick because we talked about meal prep. Talked about weird textures with foods because that's my thing. Is I'm a very sensory person about food. I'll try anything, but it's textures, not tastes. They get to me. So when I had my hysterectomy several years ago, that was the major surgery I had. Someone got me like a coupon to get some of the delivery meals or stuff because I knew I wasn't going to want to cook too much. Right. I wasn't going to be able to move around a lot. Picked the ones that I picked out, and I was like, oh, it was like, and they were all healthy stuff. It's like, oh, rice, cauliflower rice, blah 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 blah. So I go to heat it up. It's not cauliflower rice, damn it. It's diced cauliflower. It's very thinly diced cauliflower. It doesn't have the texture of rice. I have a vehement, weird hate of diced cauliflower now because just call it diced cauliflower. Don't call it cauliflower rice.
Right.
It's not cauliflower rice.
No, you're
It's not the
absolutely
same
right.
texture at all.
And
it makes me so mad.
Cauliflower to me is like eating a wet sock.
It's not good.
And like
it can be prepared right, but not in that instance.
I cook that shit in the pot and I throw it right in a fucking blender. And yeah, that's how I do it. That's how I can, and I cayenne the fuck out of it.
So you kind of make it into the mashed potato version of it.
Yeah,
I've known
pretty
people
much.
that have done that, but like by the time that they're done with it, there's so much butter and salt in them.
Oh,
that
yeah,
they're past the point of being healthy. When I've had
I don't put any of that in there. I just like I pepper it, and I might put a little bit of mozzarella in, and just cayenne, because cayenne will mask the fucking flavor of anything.
Yeah, it's true. I have to try it that way.
Mixed vegetables, same thing. Throw cayenne if you don't like mixed vegetables. Throw cayenne in there. You'll never have a problem again.
No, so most other vegetables don't bother me. I don't. Of course, mushroom. It's not a vegetable. It's fucking fungus.
Right.
But I can't do it. Can't do it. But cauliflower is one of those to me. It just doesn't have a flavor. And
Definitely.
I can tolerate it though, and as long as it's not diced and being passed off as a carb.
Rice.
Don't tell me it's a carb when it's a carb. Also, cauliflower pizza is really gross. I don't know if you've had that.
I have not.
It's
And
nasty.
Like I said, I am not a big fan of the taste of cauliflower.
Yeah.
So
It's the crust for the gluten-free people, but like it's gritty. When I've had it, falls apart. Like it's almost like sand. It's like pizza sauce and cheese on sand.
on a block of sand.
On a block
Gross.
of sand.
See, now I'm not wanting to do that. Dear diary, it's been 3 weeks since pizza.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah.
I'd rather just not eat pizza.
Right,
than
for
eat
sure.
that.
Oh my gosh, that's
So
terrible.
bad.
There was something to say about
Sorry,
that.
I think I cut you off.
No. What was I going to say about it? Fuck.
Mushrooms, diced or mixed vegetables, cayenne.
No.
Cauliflower.
I've lost it.
Sorry,
I've lost
that
it.
was probably my bad.
No, it's all good. No, it's totally good.
I've had pickled cauliflower. I don't hate that.
Really?
I like most
because
things pickled,
I'm
though.
assuming it because it takes on the pickling flavor.
It just tastes like a pickle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love
And like I
pickles.
said, it's not the texture, it's passing it off as.
Yes.
So, gross. Like I said, it's like a wet sock.
Could see that.
Beth, thank you so much for coming into the Metal Forge this week. It has been awesome, and look forward to next year's 666th anniversary of Babes of Metal.
Yes.
Thank you. We're going to listen to some She on the way out here.
Yes. Do it.
Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. To distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter code MetalForge to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now. Since 2013, there has been a calling from the underground, from the graves of all those unholy, and they decided to make a zine to talk about all of this. Soulgrinder Zine, an independent metal zine to keep you informed on all things metal and horror from the underground. Available in both print and digital formats, they're bringing you the best interviews and reviews out there today. Not only do they do the zine, but they also do compilation CDs. Check them out at facebook.com/soulgrinder.zine and start your subscription now. Hey metalheads, it's with great pleasure I get to tell you guys about a new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Ageless Art, New Albany. After 20 years of owning and operating Ageless Art in Clarksville, Indiana, Phil Garrett had a vision for a new type of tattoo studio. Something that is clean and modern, sleek, refined, inviting. And he's done just that with Ageless Art in New Albany. You can find it at 2736 Charlestown Road, New Albany, Indiana, 47150. Business hours are Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sundays are 12 to 6. All sessions are appointment only, so give them a call and go get you some new ink. Or if it's your first time, go get your first one, baby. Hey everybody, let me tell you about the new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Unchained Tapes. They're an independent Pennsylvania tape label. They focus on extreme metal and punk with a killer approach to the tape scene. Visit their web store at unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com now to get your fill of tapes. And for being a Metal Forge listener, enter the code MetalForge10 at checkout to get a 10% discount on your total purchase. That's unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com.
Hey guys, Wrestling Steve of the Wrestling Steve Show here. So if you're currently listening to the Metal Forge with Mark Jackson, then you understand that Mark Jackson has a pretty discerning taste when it comes to music as a whole. You'll also understand that he has a discerning taste for professional wrestling, just like me. My show is called the Wrestling Steve Show. I talk about modern and classic pro wrestling in a completely unbiased, unfiltered way. Be sure to check me out on all available podcasting platforms. That is the Wrestling Steve Show. And I am the host, Wrestling Steve. Just remember, like Confucius said, man who goes through turnstile in Thailand is going to Bangkok. Pro wrestling.
It's Gonna Get Weird is the name of the podcast. We're on season 2, so you have a whole season to get weird with Frank Green and Scott Clark. The best part is there's always laughter.
Oh, yeah, you can pull that out.
We have national touring comedians, NFL stars, rock stars, your local friends. It always gets weird. Weird answers.
Have y'all ever snorted coke off of a 78 Pinto? No? You ain't no man.
Weird questions.
Who had a bigger cocaine habit, Jock Sutherland or Kaywood Ledford?
Neither one, because they stopped beating their wives.
And weird we never even thought of.
Well, no. My friend is on acid, and I sent my friend to go find a payphone so that I can call and turn myself in for murdering this guy and ruin my life.
We love all types of people, but we don't love all people.
Weird. It's Gonna Get Weird is the name of the podcast, available everywhere. And thank you to Big X Sports Radio for being a proud sponsor of It's Gonna Get Weird. Frank Green, Scott Clark. Yeah.
Hey, thank you all for tuning into this week's episode of The Metal Forge. I want to take a minute to remind you guys about the Patreon page. Over on the Patreon page, we have the tiers set up to support the production of the show. We feature the Down and Dirty, which is just $1. There's nothing special for that one, it just sends me a thank you because every dollar helps. Then there's the Double Down and Dirty. Much akin to the Down and Dirty tier, everything helps produce the show in the end. You make your presence known, and I appreciate that more than you realize. Thank you for being a dedicated friend and supporter to the Metal Forge. By selecting that tier, you will receive some cool Metal Forge stickers in your mailbox. Now, we're really going to start pounding the metal madness with the Apprentice Metalhead for just $5 a month. By becoming an Apprentice Metalhead, you'll be given early access to the shows, published 24 hours before everyone else gets it. You're also going to receive 3 entries in any contest that we do here at the Metal Forge. You're also going to receive a 10% discount on all Metal Forge merch, and you're going to receive a sweet Metal Forge patch for your battle jacket or backpack. And now, here is the big one. This is the Master Metalhead for just $10 a month. By becoming a Master Metalhead, you will receive a hand-numbered Metal Forge Master Metalhead membership card. You're going to be given early access to the shows as well, with 36 hours before everyone else. You're going to receive 5 entries in any contest that we do here at the Metal Forge. You'll be able to submit audio questions that I will use on the show of you asking questions to the upcoming guests. Remember, timing is everything, and you will need to keep up with the upcoming guest list on the website. You're also going to receive advanced knowledge of any new merch coming out and be given a 25% discount on all Metal Forge merch. And you're also going to get all of the other rewards from the other tiers. So visit patreon.com/Metal Forge Radio today and help support the Metal Forge. Rock on.